Hi everyone and hi Rinku.
Hi, Archana. So one big aspect which we wanted to talk today and bring it to the audience, and hopefully it will be an interesting conversation again, is about self-doubt. So I think this is an important topic that we should touch, Archana. All of us, I don't think there's anybody on this earth who has not been touched about it. So let's begin that conversation and try and see how we can conquer it if we've found this as a big problem for us. So let me begin with asking you a question, Archana. When was the last time you faced self-doubt?
Honestly speaking, it's every single day.
Yeah. So like you said, Archana, I think all of us face self-doubt. There's not a day where we might not, have to face it or confront it. I do want to bring it up front before we start a discussion on this, is that, so it exists everywhere. It exists in everyone, however big deal you are. What we have to understand and be conscious of is that we're not looking for a perfect world. So it's not that we have to, when we're talking about these skills, it's a bad or negative thing only. It is a part of your personality, that's fine. When we look at self-doubt as a skill and when we want to work on it, what we have to understand and know is it becoming a roadblock for us in our mere existence or survival in the professional world, even in personal world? So if it is making you give up on things that you really feel that you want to do, but only because of self-doubt, it's pulling you back, then I think that's the time when you need to work on it. Otherwise, if you have doubts day in, day out, I'm sure we are able to work through it. But if it's becoming a pain in your day-to-day existence, I think that's when we have to start looking at it and start working on it. Do you want to talk about a little bit more on like what do you think, where does it crop from, or let's talk about some of the reasons?
Absolutely, Rinku. And I think self-doubt is something most of the times we don't discuss about it because we want to show the world that we are very confident, we are in control. However, at times we need to understand that it is normal to have self-doubt. Because when you feel that it's normal, you're more compassionate towards yourself. You're kind towards dealing with so many emotions that get triggered with small little things every single day. So I have days where I am absolutely confident the entire day, and there are days when I'm absolutely in my section where I really don't want to even do something because I'm so much anxious about doing certain activities. And believe you me, all this crops up from our conditioning that has happened over the past so many years. For me, it happens when, I've had certain triggers in my past wherein I have felt a certain kind of a situation where I've experienced failure, or maybe I've experienced a certain emotion which is holding me back to do so many things. So I think most of it is baggage that we all carry. And besides that, I also feel that as humans, we have this fear of failure.
Yeah.
And believe you me, over the past so many years, I'm not saying that I have conquered that, but I'm accepting that failure is part and parcel. I'm learning each day with every failure, every single day. So I think most of it for me is conditioning.
Very rightly said, Archana. I think just to summarize on some of the causes, which could be, and it's important, like before we even want to mend it, we need to know where it is coming from. Then it's easier for us to, work on it and improve upon it. So, like you said, I think most of us could have a self-doubt because we are very harsh critics of our own, our own skills, and we always doubt. We are perfectionists. So most of the perfectionists would have this as an issue because they want to do everything to the T. And since I think, how do we conquer them? So I guess we've always said, Archana, you would agree time and again, that whenever there is a problem, the awareness and the acknowledgement of it is very important. So we have to pause and think that, what's playing in our mind, and try and map this particular occurrence of self-doubt to a reason that we spoke about. Some very simple and easy things. So of course, there are deeper actions that can be done, and there are a lot of trainings which are available that you can do. But some very simple tips, I think, is one, like I said, begin with acknowledgement and awareness. I think second one is fight your fears, and I always say that fight your fears with facts. So whenever there is a fear cropping up, and which is because of a genuine reason. So for example, I went into a sales meeting and I could not negotiate and I could not win the client, and I come back as a failure. I have to go for renegotiating, but now I have a doubt that this guy is already having an impression about me that I can't make my negotiations through. So if that's kind of a situation that you're in, there could be many other situations. You have to fight your fears with facts. So try and argue yourself with some of the other instances where you have had successes.
True.
Okay? Also, what happens is that sometimes these bad events, they stay in us because they have a bigger impact on us. And what happens is there might be 10 other good incidents that could have happened, but only one bad incident which stays in our mind, which is the reason for self-doubt. So you have to understand and try and see what's the fact, what's the occurrence of it, okay? And try and work through it. The other thing is validation. Have people who are supportive of you. Let's say, like I said, if you're going into a meeting, if you're going for a public speaking event or something like that, and you have a self-doubt, try and practice it. Have people who support you, who will give you a genuine feedback, and try and gather that some kind of feedback. Practice the event again and again. If you have this fear that, or you feel that you may not be very skillful of doing it, first build that skill and then kind of overcome it. The other thing is just be nice to yourself. I think you have to be, like you said, you have to be compassionate first to yourself. So practice that as much. I think that's the one big thing which always happens in self-doubt. And I pretty much think that over the period of time, what I've understood, Archana, is that unless you face it, you don't know. So even if the doubt is there, even if your nerves are wrecking within, you should still attempt it. So don't give up just because you have a doubt in yourself. Make an attempt, and what worst could happen? The worst thing that could happen is that you would fail. But take your learnings from that failure and move on. That's my principle of working on self-doubt. And like you said, every other day, this is a challenge that we face. I personally go through this every day.
Yes, absolutely. And I think one of the videos that we also did earlier was on 3 C's, which meant that every time that you have a thought where you are self-doubting yourself, have these 3 C's in your mind that catch the thought, check the thought, and change the thought. This is a rigorous exercise we all need to keep doing every single day. So I think it is very, very important that you get mindful of your own thoughts. Because what the world is going to think is one aspect, but what you think of yourself really, really matters in a process where we're talking about self-doubt. So very beautifully explained, Rinku. I think this is one of the aspects where we need to be very open. You need to reach out to people if you think, because there might be so many things that you don't see about yourself, but other people are wanting to live that life that you have. I think just be compassionate enough to understand that this is okay.
So I guess that's all. We don't want to complicate it too much. I think this is all that I wanted to share. That, just keep doing. I think just keep moving forward and we'll see how it goes. And always, always, always go with the facts.
True that. And with that, I think we're going to wrap up this week. We'll catch you next week with yet another topic that matters. Till then, bye-bye.
Bye.